Cross over direct to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Apollo Kamau, if you can hear me, what is the latest that we can pick from that end?
Linda, good evening. There's a sense of jubilation and disappointment at the same time here in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, depending on which side you belong to. For Djibouti, for the last 1 hour and 30 minutes or so, they have been celebrating. A while ago here at Nelson Mandela Hall on my left, he did leap from his seat and made a walk all the way up to where the outgoing chair or the former chair of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki, was seated at the high table, and he went there. He hugged him and the rest of the presidents who are seated there. Then he came down and sat next to his president, who also gave a press conference welcoming the moment and celebrating the victory of their candidate. And after that, it's been celebration all the way outside the hall to outside the premises of the AU headquarters. On the other side, that is the Kenyan camp. Despite the high expectations, it turned out to be a disappointment after 7 rounds of voting because Moussa Faki beat Odinga with 33 votes, and therefore he managed the 2/3 in the 7th round. And so Odinga, in his statement, he said he conceded defeat and congratulated Mohamed Yusuf, saying he has conceded defeat as part of strengthening democracy. And he also did say those who didn't vote for him, they have exercised their democratic right. As far as the issue of how they voted is concerned, that's a point of discussion because there was a question of whether East Africa, as the region promised, given it was the one which was to produce a candidate, did vote en masse or without any divisions for Odinga. That one he didn't answer, but of course there are questions. Then there was the issue of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Since the conflict broke, various regions have taken various standpoints. We had South Africa and Rwanda. We have DRC, for example. And for DRC, President Felix Tshisekedi did send his prime minister. He didn't come here. He was attending a security conference in Europe. And there was the letter then that came from SADC. Remember, this is a bloc of 16 countries. The letter saying they have resolved to back the Madagascar candidate. So there are all these intrigues. But when Odinga came out, he came out strong, affording to put up a strong face. He was calm. He was flanked by Kenya's top diplomat and foreign affairs CS Musalia Mudavadi. There was CS Aden Duale. There was his son Odinga Jr. Then we had Senator Cheruyot, who was also part of the delegation. Then we had members of the the National Assembly Defense and Foreign Relations Committee, led by its chair, Belgut MP Koech himself was there, and his vice chair Major Bashir. So the Kenyan delegation tonight is keeping a low profile, unlike what they had promised earlier, because there was supposed to be a celebration event at the ambassador's premises, and of course there were also some hotels where members of parliament were being held up watching these events closely, given most of them could not access. And therefore tonight it's a moment of reflection and accepting defeat, which has been done by Odinga, and therefore the journey moves on. But of course from today moving forward, it's about breaking up what happened. Where did Kenya fail? What are the factors? Did some of the countries fail to keep their promise? And of course, going by what has turned out, they did fail. So it's a very calm, eventful night, depending on where you stand, Linda.
Indeed, it is depending on where you stand, as Apollo Kamau says. Of course, this is the second time that Kenya goes for this particular position. And when we say Kenya, we also are equally talking about East Africa, with the knowledge and the background that indeed this seat is always contested for, was placed regionally. And of course, East Africa putting their bid, of course, looking forward to get a hold of it, as Apollo Kamau is asking, did they live up to their bill or to their promise? That is what we'll be looking at, and so much more.